We're on a journey through America's underworld to see just what weird subterranean secrets we can uncover. Our next stop is just up the coast in Seattle, Washington. It may be most famous for its strong coffee and clean air, but rumor has it there's an underside to Seattle that's even grungier than its music. We decide to fish for some clues to the mysterious underground at the Pike Place Market.
This smells like the place.
Mark and Mark, that's weird.
Maybe some of the locals can point us in the right direction to the rumored underground city.
Hey Mark, maybe we should pick one of these up just for the halibut. It's the dreaded monkfish.
We see a lot of weird fish, but no weird underground yet. We decide to follow signs that say down under.
You think this is it? Could it be this simple? Just go down under? Plenty of prostitutes? Must be the wrong underground.
Now don't get me wrong. The farmer's market is a great place to hang out, but there's no evidence here of Seattle's supposedly historic underground city.
Yeah, well, learning how to catch a flying sockeye with your bare hands is definitely a useful skill. But I think we want to get the real lowdown on underground Seattle. We're going to have to look a little further than the local fishmonger.
Well, let's go do what we do best.
What do we do best?
Research, my man.
Research.
With a tip from the trustworthy information lady, we set off to meet a woman who supposedly knows the way to the Seattle underground.
Let's get subterranean. Hi, you Penny?
Yeah, Mark?
I can tell by the shirt.
So we're looking forward to getting some underground action here in Seattle. Can you show us around?
Yeah, let's do it. Follow me.
Tour guide Penny Truitt agrees to give us the inside scoop on Seattle's underbelly. As we walk through Pioneer Square, we learn that an underground city from the late 1800s does in fact exist. And where we're standing now is actually one level above Seattle's original sidewalk.
So then this building actually continues down below the level of the street that we're standing on, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm beginning to understand now.
All right. Let's go take a look.
So where are we going?
Well, actually, we're going right here. This is it.
That's it?
This is it.
Looks like an alley.
It's like the
Yeah.
entrance to a dungeon.
I probably didn't tell you guys, the underground's condemned.
There will be more coffee shops down there, though, right?
Well, that's how we prove it's primitive. It's the only place you can't get coffee.
Oh, I think I'm jonesing for another.
So this is the original street level.
Yeah, we're standing,
There we are.
Yeah.
There's the lights.
Hey, weren't we just standing up there a few minutes ago?
we sure were.
Seattle was built in the 1850s at sea level on top of landfill. With high tides and frequent rainstorms, the city is plagued by constant flooding. Our first stop underground shows us how low elevation living during frontier days could get messy.
I hear there was a big plumbing problem here in Seattle.
Oh yeah, you could call it a big problem. Our toilets literally flush in reverse during really high tide. It turns out when you lay a sewer system, you should have the exit point above the highest high tide. So,
I think even the Romans knew that.
I think the Romans had it down. Seattle, you know, we're all about trial and error.
But in 1889, flooding is the least of Seattle's problems. A fire ignited by a carpenter's melting glue rages through Pioneer Square. 33 blocks are destroyed. Local leaders pledge to start fresh and rebuild at a higher level to avoid past flooding problems. But they don't build fast enough. Property owners take reconstruction into their own hands. They build right on top of the burned-out foundation. When the city finally starts to put their plan for elevated streets into action, a two-level Seattle takes shape.
The city paid to raise the streets. They didn't pay to raise the sidewalks. After the fire, the property owners started reconstruction too quickly, and the city had to literally work around what the property owners did. These windows originally were at the street level.
Yeah, well, I guess you wouldn't put windows into the basement level,
That's right. You wouldn't normally. There's a great picture, actually, of the building over here.
As strange as it sounds, the downtown sidewalks and shop entrances are at Seattle's original ground level. The streets are built as much as 32 feet higher.
How did people get from the street into these buildings?
The city just figured the solution is just to put a ladder at the corners, and that's how you would cross the street. You would
Down a ladder and then
down
up a ladder?
without dropping the kids, your packages. Yeah, it was miserable. And for men in Seattle, you know, these are loggers, and they're either chopping or they're partying. And
Yeah, so it must have been kind of tough coming out of a bar, stumbling out into the street. And
yeah, 17 guys didn't make it.
Really?
17 men fell
down.
from the street to the sidewalk. Yeah, they say the cause of death was involuntary suicide.
Voluntary suicide.
like a
Isn't
bad
that a
drunk.
contradiction?
Even with this odd new layout, commerce thrives for more than 15 years during Seattle's gold rush.
What other kinds of businesses did you have down in these subterranean ruins?
Well, in this particular area would have been banking, but there would have been legitimate businesses operating at both the new street level and the original street level. Because of the location in the city, there were some entertainment-based businesses in the underground. Steam
Entertainment?
baths, yes.
Steam baths?
Yes. But you know, you could have come and bought your supplies if you were heading north to the gold rush.
And some of the space is used for more questionable purposes.
So in our research, we found that whenever you have these secret passageways underground, there's usually some nefarious element that takes up occupancy. And was that ever the case in Seattle?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Seattle is a Wild West town. I mean, we're on the coast. How much more frontier can you get?
So what did these Seattleites do underground here, Penny?
Well, if it wasn't legitimate business, or
No, I'm not talking about legitimate. I'm talking about unlegitimate.
we call it sewing. Seattle had a large quantity of sewing girls and sewing houses.
Sewing? As in knitting?
Well, we'll just say that's what the girls told the cops when they got arrested.
You can't arrest me.
How many prostitutes, I mean seamstresses, were there in Seattle?
Well, at one point, there was about 10% of the population claimed to be working as seamstresses. Over 2,000 seamstresses, all but 6 living in the same 3-block area.
Well, I guess when you have a lot of gold and a lot of frontier people.
You got to get your britches hemmed.
That'll be cut.
The two-level city prospers until 1907, when an outbreak of bubonic plague hits Seattle. Panicked city leaders quickly shut down the underground. They pay citizens 10 cents for every rat tail they turn in. And some sneaky entrepreneurs even breed them just to make a little more cash. Historians begin to excavate the underground in the 1960s, and parts of it are still condemned today. But what we can see from our exploration is that Seattle's history is grounded in subterranean living. And with a devastating fire, bad city planning, and some ingenuity, there's no telling what Americans will build underground.
Man, we're all over the place here.
Yeah.
We start down below, we come up here.
You go in one hole and you come pop up another one somewhere else. It's great.
Penny, thanks for showing us
Yeah.
a bit of Seattle. Not many people get to see.
Thank you, Mark.
The real underground tour. Thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot.
Mark.
Okay.
All right, you guys have a great day.